The caveman method is going viral right now, which is basically quitting skincare entirely. No serums, no moisturizer, not even washing your face, and just leaving your skin alone. And a lot of people are trying it because their skin feels irritated or overwhelmed or just out of control. And as a dermatologist, I've been getting so many questions about whether this is helpful or is going to cause problems down the line. So today we are going to talk all about the caveman method and whether or not I think this is something worth trying. Hi friends, I'm Dr. Sam Ellis. I am a board certified dermatologist in California, and welcome to the channel or welcome back to the channel. I see patients in my clinic literally every day who are confused by viral trends or overwhelmed with routines or just want to know what they actually should do to take the best care of their skin. Which is why I'm going to start a series on here called Derm Verdict. Whenever something blows up online that you have a lot of questions about, I will break it down on here the way I would with a patient in my office. We'll talk about what it is, why it's popular, the pros, the cons, and ultimately, do I recommend it or not, and how to maybe adjust it to work with your life. If you like this type of content, make sure you like this video, you're subscribed to the channel, and don't be afraid to leave a comment about something you want my derm verdict on. There are definitely a few reasons that come to mind as to why this caveman trend took off. And I think number one, people have just been doing too much for their skin. They're using retinoids and exfoliants and vitamin C's, and their skin is freaking out. So the thought of just like quitting everything to let their skin reset makes a lot of sense. Second, I feel like there's a bit of like an anti-overconsumption mindset going on right now. People really feel like routines have gotten out of control and too expensive. So really getting a routine down to just a few things instead of 10 steps that cost a lot of money is very appealing. And third, I think some people are motivated by skin issues like skin picking or constantly feeling like they need to rotate products in and out of their routine, and quitting everything is just a lot simpler. And I know this caveman method also got very popular on TikTok because there was this one woman in particular who was really struggling with picking her skin, and she developed this like thick yellowish brown crust all over her face anytime she would stop her products. And she couldn't figure out if it was her routine or lack of a routine that was causing skin problems for her. And so she kind of just went into this caveman method of doing absolutely nothing. And people had thoughts on that. Now there are some things that are actually true and that I like about this trend as a dermatologist, namely being that when you cut things out of your routine, you reduce the risk of something causing irritation to your skin. And of course, if you are using too many active ingredients too often, your skin barrier is going to rebel against that and be chronically irritated and inflamed, and it's just not going to be happy. Minimalism can be very therapeutic for your skin. Sometimes your skin really just needs a break in time to repair itself, and one of the questions I kept getting was, with this caveman method, like why are they not even putting water on their skin? But sometimes water can feel harsh as well. You might be sensitive to the minerality of the water. If you're using really hot water, it can strip the natural lipids. So I get where they're coming from. Now, the idea that not cleansing is naturally healthier for your skin is really not supported by science. Your skin produces oil, sweat, dead skin cells. There's bacteria on there, and you combine that with pollution and other environmental exposures. There's a lot sitting on your skin that will not naturally shed off without cleansing. If you leave it there, it will build up. And for some people's skin, that's going to be absolutely fine. But for a lot of people's skin, that's going to cause clogging of pores and even inflammation. And the benefit of cleansers is they can actually be a much gentler way than just using water and like a washcloth, for example, to remove that debris without overly irritating the skin. Some people go, okay, I'm not going to use cleansers at all, and that is okay. But when you have to scrub to really get all of that stuff off of your skin, you are further irritating the skin barrier if you're already sensitive. I think what we saw with that woman on TikTok who developed those yellow and brown crusts on her face, although, you know, I'm not her dermatologist. I can't make a formal diagnosis as something called retention hyperkeratosis, which is essentially all of that sweat and oil and dead skin cells and bacteria and yeast forming a crust on the skin because it was not properly removed. This is something I see from time to time as a dermatologist in my own clinic, not generally on the face, but there are certain areas on the body that are not consistently cleansed well, especially in people who have certain psychiatric disorders, in the elderly, people who may be unhoused or don't have access to cleaning themselves on a regular basis. And you can get this type of retention and that crustiness often on the lower legs, the chest, top of the butt crack, behind your ears. I've seen it kind of everywhere. And what we do in clinic, and it seems like magic to the patient, is we take alcohol and we just scrub the area, and that debris and all that brown gunk comes right off, and they are so impressed because sometimes it gets to the point where it's so solidified on the skin that a gentle cleanser is just not going to do the trick, but alcohol sure will. Now, on the other side of this, I have had patients who come into my clinic who are intentionally doing the caveman method. They have purposely stopped everything, and often, I will say for the first few days, even a week, they report that their skin feels really good. It feels healthier, and that kind of makes sense. It's given a break to their barrier, but then they often say, yeah, but now I'm getting these little rashes around my nose. I'm breaking out. I have more clogged pores. And that's because skin, as you get older, sometimes does not follow the normal sloughing off and sort of shedding that it does when you are younger. And it requires more consistent cleansing and support. And my experience has been these patients have been quite happy that they are pursuing the caveman method, but they're actually not happy with how it's making their skin look. And so what I try to do as the dermatologist is really help them establish a new skincare routine, still using kind of minimalist skincare, but certainly not doing nothing. In the morning, I would start with a very simple routine, a gentle cleanser, whether that's like Prequel cleanser or the CeraVe hydrating cleanser or the La Repose gentle cleanser, and then following that with what I would consider a bland moisturizer, a moisturizer that does not have active ingredients in it. So, for example, the Vanic Cream Daily Facial Moisturizer, the CeraVe Moisturizer, something that is just there to soften the skin and hold water and moisture within your skin. Like if your skin is freaking out, you can even skip sunscreen. That is a long-term goal, to have consistent sun protection, but we don't need to start there. And then at night, you would use that same gentle cleanser and that same moisturizer. I think a lot of people also run into issues with their skin because they're just bringing so many things into their skincare routine and their skin is freaking out and they can't pinpoint what is the issue. So when you eliminate a routine or narrow down a routine, it really helps you figure out what's causing a problem and what's not. The other thing I really want to emphasize is minimizing touching your face. So many people touch their face way more than they think about. And I've really observed this just talking to patients in my office. Like while they're talking to me, while I'm doing their intake, they're touching their face. When I'm observing people walking down the street, they're touching their face. And you don't need to manipulate that skin. It's such a habit. But the more you touch your face, the more oils, bacteria, debris you're introducing. And that's also a frictional force on your skin that doesn't need to be there. And then bonus points is if you use something like a silk pillowcase. Some pillowcases are a little bit rougher. They cause more friction on the skin. A silk pillowcase is going to be very gentle on your skin. And I feel like it's always such a win when that's part of your routine. And I feel like this routine really works because you are letting your skin heal, but you are not neglecting it. You are being intentional. And if you are going to implement something like this, I would do it for at least 4 weeks. It takes about 28 days for your skin cells to cycle from the bottom layer of your skin to the top layer of your skin and then naturally slough off. So you want to give your skin a full cycle to help heal. And I really want to get the point across that for most people who do the caveman method, their skin is going to be fine. Like it might not be as radiant or even toned or blemish free as they want, but they're also not going to have a ton of problems. However, if you have a true skin disorder like eczema or rosacea or seborrheic dermatitis, doing nothing is not the answer. That almost certainly will make your condition worse. And I totally get why people with eczema or rosacea or seborrheic dermatitis might want to quit skincare and try the caveman method because they're like, nothing I'm doing is helping, so I'll just try nothing. But I encourage you instead to strategize with your dermatologist, because there's usually something else we can try, and sometimes you just haven't tried the right layering or mixture of products. These conditions really do benefit from targeted treatments, whether that's prescription things that we can help you find over the counter, but getting professional guidance for that is worth it rather than like diving into stopping everything. So my overall derm verdict on the caveman method is that I am not for it, because it's either not particularly helpful or it could make an underlying skin condition worse. However, most people can get away with a more minimal skincare routine than they think. And if you have loftier skincare goals beyond just having a predictable, healthy skin barrier, that's when adding additional skincare ingredients, whether it's retinoids or vitamin C or exfoliants, into your routine makes sense. But this should be done thoughtfully and only adding one product at a time to avoid overwhelming your skin and overwhelming your routine. And also, if you have any additional questions about the caveman method that I did not discuss or strategize about, definitely let me know in the comments. I want these videos to be valuable for you. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And I will catch you in my next one.